To Game Over. I'm Charles J. Orlando.
I'm Lisa Stedman.
And this is the show that teaches your inner voice to stop saying, I date all the assholes because I think I deserve it. Welcome to Street Smart Love Advice, offered Monday through Friday, here I keep doing that. Here live on Facebook and on Ustream. So if you're watching on Facebook.com/theproblemismen, welcome. If you're watching on Ustream on your mobile device, how you doing? If you're watching on thegameovershow.com, we're great to have you here. And we've got an international audience, so we're thrilled that you're here today.
Do I get to talk now?
Wow.
That was the longest Charles soliloquy I've heard in a very long time.
Spelled soliloquy.
You know what? I was actually a champion spelling bee. I was a spelling bee champ, so don't even get me started.
Okay, fine, sorry.
Welcome to Game Over TV. I am Lisa Stedman. This is Charles J. Orlando, and we are so happy to be here. We are on show 10.
Yes, we are.
Woohoo!
And welcome.
Yeah. So today's topic, how to keep things spicy, how to have longevity in your relationship. And we're not just talking about your sex life today. We're talking about general relationship secrets of happy, healthy, hot couples.
And we've got you on the social stream. Yeah. So if you have a question, right next to your Ustream, you should have a chat area, including on the mobile. So chat your questions in, and we are getting to questions at the back half of the broadcast. Oh, why the hell are you laughing at me?
Because we had the most hilarious pre-show, you guys. Like, if you want, like, the Blair Witch kind of handheld version of the show, come to Charles's fan page, The Problem Is Men, like 10 minutes before the show, and you will see us acting a little redonkulous. Not that we don't act redonkulous on this show, but...
Well, there is that.
Yeah. All right, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's get to it.
God. All right.
And welcome everybody who's here and in the social stream like I'm trying to speak today.
Right.
All right.
So, keeping the spark, am I allowed to talk again now?
It's your turn.
I'm just making sure.
Yes.
You know, it's just going to be one of those shows, like every day. Keeping the spark in a long-term relationship. It's not the easiest thing to do, right?
It's not. Now, how long have you been married?
Well, we've been together 22 years, married for 14.
Okay, so you know a thing or two about long-term relationships and keeping the spark alive. A little bit. I have been with the Hubs for 7 years, and it's twice as long as any other relationship I've ever been in, so I think I'm doing pretty well.
But twice as spicy.
Oh, it's like 10 million times more spicy. Okay, so...
But it's challenging, right? I mean, you get two people together at the beginning of a relationship, and it's beautiful. Everybody's infatuated. It's lovely. And then
sunshine,
you move
roses,
move in together, and everything's...
Well, no, the moving in together is fun, but it's like, you know, cut to like 3 years later, and you're like, did you take out the trash? Why the F do I have to take out the trash?
You said F. She always swears.
I seriously edited. In my head, I was about to say the full word.
What word?
I'm so proud of myself. That word. So let's talk about some of the things that are really important. And I want to start off with my favorite. And my husband taught me this one. And that's always coming from fairness.
Right.
So if you have an issue with the other person, if they did something or said something that bothers you, it's not about not saying anything, because you need to communicate what's going on. But it's about being fair about it. So rather than you're a total asshole for saying what you said in front of so-and-so, it's like, you know what, babe, it really bothered me when you said this in front of so-and-so.
Right. Well, and you're speaking about, I mean, that fairness, and Lewis has got it down cold, right?
Yeah.
But it also highlights that so many people wait for their turn to speak, and we've talked about this on the show.
Is it my turn? Yes, so active listening and empathy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because people reveal themselves. So,
drink! People reveal themselves slowly over time. That is the Game Over drinking game code. Every time Charles says that, take a shot, have a beer, whatever.
Do we get to take a shot with that?
Sure.
Here's what we recommend, right? So we have other recommendations. So being fair, part of this is like emotional, right? But the other part of it is just cohabitation, because that's part of what just kills people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all nonsense aside, just two people living together is difficult.
Can create drama. So the Hubs and I said up front that the secrets to our happy relationship was because people fight about sex, children, house cleaning, and money. And so our agreement was we have separate accounts for money, and then we share some money. We weren't going to have kids. We were going to hire a cleaning lady, and we were always going to have sex. Now, that's great in theory, but then life throws you a curveball, and you have a kid.
Well, right.
And, and I'm going to be really transparent, because transparency is the only way to go. So you have a kid, so the sex life really suffers. So all those things you said you were going to really work on to rock your relationship start to go away. Mm-hmm. I have been totally guilty of over-investing in my business, and less of my money was coming to the household. And when you say keep your own money, that's great. But then if you have different spending and saving styles, that gets into some really tricky areas. So things that seem really clean on the surface can start to really wear away at the happiness of your relationship.
No doubt.
So it's got to go deeper than that.
Well, see, and those little things are really important. I mean, there's lots of couples that have trouble with, like, the remote control. Right? So you may not be able to get the remote control, but here's the compromise between it.
Weird. I don't relate to that one, but okay.
Well, you get a DVR, right?
Yes.
And then you go back and forth with who's going to watch live and who's going to watch the recording. Yeah. And then pretty soon you start arguing over who's going to watch the recording because nobody wants the commercials, right? So, but no, there's one of the biggest tips that I have is a DVR. The other is a cleaning person.
Amen. Miriam comes twice a month. God bless her.
Sure, and I know it's a rough economy, right? So getting somebody to come once a week doesn't necessarily work. Maybe even once a month. Mm-hmm. For those situations, you can dedicate a cleaning day for the two of you, and everybody does it. And if you have kids, especially kids that are over the age of 8, like, put them to work. I have 2 kids. I have 2 kids.
Work. Put them to work. Wow, we sound like slave drivers. You know what was great is we taught the wee one at 19 months how to throw stuff away.
Nice.
So we'd be like, can you put that in the trash? And she'd go do it, and she loved it. It was awesome.
And if my kids are watching, please go clean your room.
The next thing, windows. We should have taught her to wash the windows. But this is really important. So, and also cleanliness. Different styles of cleanliness. We joke in my household, I'm kind of like Pigpen, like a little dust cloud follows me around, and my husband's like definitely a minimalist and a cleaner. So you've got to find your way, and one of the keys I say to that is if one of you is significantly different in your cleaning habits, if there's any way that the really clean person can have their own room somewhere in the house, if it's a den, if it's an office, if it's some space that they can go and hide out when they need to be in a little cave, right. Feel like the dirt isn't way all over them. That's really important. All right.
Definitely. All right.
I thought that was a good one. You said that one.
Which one?
The never buy.
Oh, yeah. So part of the gentleman's code, like, never buy jewelry or perfume or lingerie for somebody else's girl. If you're a guy, just don't do that.
That's an important one.
Well, even as a couple, right? Like, sometimes you end up buying perfume for a friend. Like, she can do that for her friend. But he shouldn't be involved in that. It just causes this thing.
I really appreciate that. I think that's so important. And one of the things that I think that we did that I think was really important is when we decided to do this partnership, we agreed that this would, like, if things ever got blurry, we had to end the partnership before anything got blurry.
Right.
So if you're going to have a male or female friend, it's really outside of your relationship. It's really important not to pretend that there will never be a gray area, but to talk about it and set up the expectation ahead of time and say, you know what, my relationship is the #1 priority, and we can't go there even if feelings start, we're going to have to change this dynamic.
Sure, well, and that type of communication, when you have somebody of the opposite sex in your life a lot. I mean, you had to talk to Lewis about doing this show with me.
Yeah,
I had to talk to Tina, right? And we had to have that line of communication open, otherwise it ends up closing things down.
Well, and I just knew, God bless the Hubs, not a jealous person. I happen to be a jealous person, so I knew if the shoe were on the other foot, I'd be like, you mean that another woman's going to be in my house every day for 3 hours a day while I'm not there, and you expect me to be on board with that? I think game over. So I, knowing him, knew that wasn't the issue, but I also needed him to know what was what.
Right.
And I needed him to say, yes, this is okay, and here are the boundaries. Right. So communication in that area, I think men and women can be friends. We've talked about this. We talked about this on our first show, but you've got to set concrete ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
What else?
Turn off the television when you talk to your significant other. Close your computer. Close the newspaper.
Your phone.
Yeah, all those things. Like, if you're going to spend time and talk to them, talk. Don't be doing something else. You cannot multitask, and if you can, you shouldn't. So.
Yeah, sometimes you can feel like you're competing with all those devices. Like, hey, I'm over here. and there's a time and a place for the devices, but there's also a time and a place for, like, let's slow it down. Let's actually communicate. Let's
just go to dinner and don't check in at the restaurant on Facebook, right? Just leave the phone in the car.
So guilty of, like, we'll have a conversation as soon as I check in. Are you checking in? We're a little scary that way.
Couple of fast ones. What do we got?
Anniversaries and birthdays. Don't
forget either. And don't pretend that you did. Very, very quick.
Have them on the calendar on a recurring basis.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one. If you've got kids, when you come home, who should you kiss first?
Your significant other.
Amen.
Kids are definitely important, but the marriage and the relationship is between the two adults.
Yeah.
So if you're running to see your kids first, there better be an emergency. Otherwise, you should be seeing your significant other first, right? A lot of times in relationships, you have a choice. So here's another one. You can say you're sorry and not mean it, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So my advice is if you're going to say it, say it. Right. Or don't say it.
Yes.
Right. But you end up with a choice, right? And now I'm quoting Tina. So you can either be right or you can be happy.
I choose happy. I used to choose right, and I was miserable a lot of the time. So I'm glad I made that distinction. You know, you talk a lot, I've heard you say this before, about how cooking in the kitchen can lead to passion in the boudoir.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that. The Hubs is quite a good cook, so enough said.
Never call names in anger. You know, I
can't take it back, and they will always remember.
Yeah, right. And cursing in anger is sometimes different, but saying the F word or calling them something is something completely different. Yeah.
This one is really important for women especially. If you want your man to change, don't hold your breath, because he's going to change on his own time, and I wouldn't recommend getting involved with anybody that you're waiting for them to change. You're going to spend a lot of years being really frustrated. So if you find yourself in a situation right now where you're like, why can't they just change? Why don't you focus some of that attention on how you might need to change? Because chances are there are things you're not perfect at, and by looking at yourself first, you'll stop be sitting there being frustrated by the other person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Don't be threatened by their successes. Try to live vicariously through them.
That's
right?
a hard one,
It's
Charles.
very difficult. It's very difficult.
What do you recommend if somebody's in a relationship with somebody and they consistently have more success, it seems like from outward appearances?
Well, the other person has a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's a dicey situation to be in, because you either end up being full-time cheerleader.
Yeah, and there are relationships like that
which
work
is fine
if you're down with that.
Right. Or you end up being resentful because now you're on the back burner all the time.
Yeah.
So you either have to go out and build your own life and share it back with them.
Yeah.
Or settle into the fact that they are now doing what they do.
Yeah.
And you can be with somebody who can do that you're good.
Yeah. I think the key is understanding the dynamic in the relationship. Do you want to be... Like, you can be successful with them, it's not like it's an either or, but finding your way with it, especially if there's an ego involved, like, I got some ego, so, when the Hubs has success, I'm really happy for him. If it were constant, he was having the only success and I was having none, that would be really hard for me.
Oh, sure.
So you got to check in with that ego part of yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We have more tips, and you'll be able to find them, I think, on Facebook.com/theproblemismen. Yeah, it really did. And now we're going to thank one of our sponsors.
Yay. We got to pay some bills to keep all these fabulous lights on.
We love you, Your Tango.
Whoop, whoop.
We love you. YourTango.com is your source for all things relationships, marriage, pop culture, and cool news.
Cool news. Cool peeps like us.
Cool peeps. Your Tango experts. If you're looking for love advice beyond this show, which you should never, ever need besides this show,
never
right?
Mind we said that.
But no, they have an incredible stable of life coaches, love coaches, dating coaches, professional therapists, marriage counselors, psychotherapists,
sex experts, all kinds of people.
And that's Your Tango experts. So be sure to check them out.
Yeah.
In the second half of the show...
My bra is showing. I'm really annoyed at that.
Mine's not showing at all.
No. I need some wardrobe tape, people. Recommend something.
I'm going to check in on the social stream here.
Cool.
But what we're doing here for the second half of the show
is... We answer your advice live.
And we do. So sometimes it's off the social stream. Sometimes people are coming to Facebook.com/theproblemismen. You click the little message button, and we get your messages live right off my fan page. So
I love that. So Kay says... I'm 41 and I've had a hysterectomy. My boyfriend is 33 and he wants children. He says he loves me but really desires to have a child of his own. Do you think he's just making an excuse to not feel bad about ending? Oh, he ended the relationship?
Well, I think he's about to end the relationship.
He tells me I'm a good woman and he doesn't deserve me. In our 3 years, he has cheated and continued to talk to other women.
So there's two different issues.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues here. So, cheated, still talks to other women. I'm calling game over on that.
Right. But he may be experiencing, so he clearly has communication issues. So, Kay, if you're listening.
Hi, Kay. Thank you for writing in.
Thank you for writing in.
Appreciate it.
But, so there's two things happening.
Yeah.
One is the infidelity. But
game over.
But totally. Game over. But the reason behind the infidelity is what's important.
Yes. So, is Kay blaming herself for the infidelity?
Well, she can't be.
I hope not.
No, it's never your fault if somebody cheats on you, right? So, Kay, just get that out of your head.
What'd you say, a sign of their character, not yours?
Oh, yeah. It's all because of who they're not who you are.
Love that.
Yeah, it's
and
real.
Let's drink to that. That's not the drinking game, but I drink to that.
Right, because people reveal themselves slowly over time.
Drink! Okay.
But with Kay, there's two things. I mean, so that's a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, he may want children and you can't have them or don't want them, and either way, you know, it sounds like you can't have them, and I'm sorry for that.
Well, but she also says she would love to have another child, but not being able to bear a child, there's a bit of rejection happening here.
Right.
So, Kay, I totally get this. You are not bad or wrong because you can't have another child.
No.
And one of the challenges in relationships is deciding on children. And if one of you wants children and the other one doesn't, that can be a deal breaker. That can be a game over. In this scenario, it sounds like you both would be open to it. But if it sounds like he can only have children in one way, which is to bear his own children,
then he should do that.
Then yeah,
he should go fuck himself and bear his own children. I said it
twice on the show. I've been so fucking good today. Okay. I'm done being good. It's over. No. Okay. So for Kay, I feel like this relationship is a game over.
Yeah.
Like, just
he's already cheated.
Fair.
Yeah. The issues are there, right?
Yeah.
So he could have talked about what it was, but now he's already gone off and cheated behind your back. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
So don't sell yourself out. No.
And don't sell yourself short. Just because you can't have children does not make you a woman.
Absolutely.
Does not make you less valuable. So I think there's some self-healing work here that needs to happen, and the understanding that you can meet a man who's going to think that you're awesome and not give you the idea that you're not enough woman because you can't have a child.
Right.
So game over and game on to you.
Okay. You want to do the next one?
Do the next one, sir.
All right. This goes out to M. M, thank you for writing in at facebook.com/theproblemismen.
Hi, Em.
I'm with my boyfriend, and I've been with him for a while, and I love him to bits.
To bits.
I know he loves me.
Yay.
But he can't get a job.
Oh, okay.
He's been through a tough time losing his brother. I don't want to be a nag, but his unemployment is really beginning to irritate me. We're living together and getting on so well, but I'm sick of footing all the bills. What do I do? So...
Wonder how long it's been. That's my first question.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. And Em, if you want to write back in, we can give you some advice off the air.
Yeah.
But so when a man loses his job, like, that's a huge deal.
And
right?
it's a huge blow to his self-esteem. And men really, really identify their value with their income.
That's protector-provider stuff.
Yeah.
That's primal, right? If he doesn't have gainful employment, it means he can't, bring home bacon so that it can be cooked it right. So I mean, it's really a big deal beyond just the cash that's not coming in the house.
Yeah, and this is actually a common problem I'm hearing a lot in this economy. A lot of men are losing their jobs,
right?
And a lot of women are too. But there's been I've seen more and more that the women are becoming the breadwinners, and that can be a real role reversal and can be really challenging for the relationship. And
sure.
I have another drinking game. Every time I say real or really, because I say them a lot, you'll get really drunk.
Drink.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I think the best
Solutions.
advice, I would be being as supportive as you can. I don't know how long it's been, right? So back in, Em.
Yeah.
But be supportive as you can, because he's already taken hits, and if his brother's died too, like, he's got all this external stress. Doesn't excuse him from not footing his part of the bills, but if he's looking for employment, and
if he's actively trying, that's one thing. Now, I gotta say, I have a girlfriend who's got a deadbeat husband. This man will not hold a job, and I call game over on that.
Yeah, I agree. If you're not going to pull your weight, like, get the hell out, right?
No, if that's a decision. Here? Like, if your spouse doesn't work and you agree with that, that's totally
different. That's different.
That's so different.
But to your point, like, that's not what's happening here, and
it
that's
wasn't
really
my girlfriend's deal either. He was supposed to get a job like 10 years ago.
Nothing wrong with one breadwinner in the house, provided that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
You're not on the same page. So that's definitely
Somebody
a game
says
over.
you're fabulous.
Oh.
Yay!
Hi, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Yep.
He's
Beth likes
fabulous.
it. Well, we're both fabulous. Lisa's awesome. All right. This one, do you want to read the last one?
Yeah. Oh, we're running out of time.
We're actually over. Let's keep going.
B. Long distance relationship. We're planning to get married. Hi, B. Congratulations. Just a few days ago, he asked if I want to be a best girlfriend. Then he asked if he can hook up with another girl before he marries me, or if I give him his fantasy in bed. I'm assuming 2 girls.
2 girls, or he wants to sow his wild oats.
Should have sowed your wild oats before you got engaged. Game over.
Yeah. Look, if he's so. Just paraphrasing a little bit,
Yeah.
he wants the relationship and he wants his cake and eat it too. Sorry.
No, so basically what he's saying is, I know I've agreed to marry you, but I think I want to play around a little bit before that happens.
And I want you to join me if you're up to it. Now, there's nothing wrong with either of those decisions, right? There's plenty of relationships that are open.
Yeah.
There's relationships where, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all fine, provided everybody's on the same page.
As long as you're all on the same page. Don't do it just to make somebody else happy, because it may make you miserable.
Well, and that's what I was going to call out. Because what she says here, what do? I don't want to stop him with whatever he wants, but I feel sad about what he said. Do I let him be with other girls? Do I stop him? I don't want to stop him from having his fantasy in bed. All right, so unless you're into it, B, it's not going to work out well.
I'm calling game over.
Yeah.
It would not be okay with me. I so appreciate that you're trying to be the loving, supportive fiance, but come on, where's your say in this?
Right.
Like, the thing that's coming to my mind that I just want to say that I have to say is I want to make sure you have self-esteem enough to know that you don't have to accept this if you don't want to.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to say.
But if you were into it, I think you wouldn't have written in, because it would have been this natural thing.
You would have said, game on!
Let's go, right.
Yeah.
So, my advice, sit down and tell him the truth. Otherwise, this is going to lead to insecurity, resentment, and I guarantee...
And that's not the way to start a marriage.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, and this isn't over here.
No.
This isn't over. This is class now. I mean, I don't know the guy at all. I would just say that these are classic signs of a guy that's going to stray any second.
He's on his way.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
on his way. So, that was B?
That was B.
B, good luck, and keep us posted on that one. We are pulling for you and rooting for you.
If you have a question, please email it in at gameovertvshow@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or you can visit my fan page at facebook.com/theproblemismen. And we'll get it right here, and we'll read it on the show. All anonymous, as you saw. Nobody gets named. If you put it on my wall, then we do name you.
Yeah, but then you put it on the wall. So then we give you a big shout out, and we're like, woohoo! Because we do that. That's how we roll.
This has been Game Over. I'm Charles J. Orlando.
I'm Lisa Stedman. Thanks for watching.
She is Lisa Stedman. She's awesome. We will see you back here tomorrow. And what are we talking about?
I forget.
Right. Check us out.
That's the way I handle saying I forget.
Facebook.com/theproblemismen. Click on events, and you'll see the entire schedule. Until then,
bye.